Hi, it's Derek with DSR Real Estate Group with a special edition of our market update for November of 2022, including some special predictions for 2023. The number of sales continue to drop in November as we start to enter the holiday season. Now, this is a fairly typical thing that happens every year. Around mid-November to the end of November, sales start to drop as people start thinking more towards the holiday seasons and less towards home sales. Now, this year was particularly fast and early. It actually started at the beginning of the month where things started to slow down a bit. And the result was about a 53% drop in sales compared to November of 2021 for Greater Vancouver, and about a 58% drop in the Fraser Valley compared to November of 2021. Interest rates played a big role in the early slowdown of our market as people prepare for the upcoming announcement from the Bank of Canada, which is coming on December 7th. Now, there's a lot of speculation as to how much that rate increase will be, but pretty much everyone is in a consensus that it will probably be another rate hike again. Now, the experts are estimating anything between 25 to 50 basis points, but they've been wrong a few times this year, so we'll have to see what happens on December 7th. Now it's time for our 2023 insights or our predictions. There's a lot to cover, so let's just dive right into it. Our predictions will depend on three overall variables. Upcoming regulations is one of them, immigration policy, and then finally what we call the middle class squeeze. First off, let's talk about regulatory changes, the biggest of which is the rescission period, also known as the remorse period. Now, this is a 3-day cooling off time where buyers have the opportunity to really decide whether they want to purchase a property or not. So they have up to 3 days to decide on this. And if they choose to walk away from the property, no obligation, they can, except for a 0.25% penalty that they'd have to cough up to the sellers, basically for wasting their time. Now, this is supposed to come off of the deposit amount, but again, this is a very vague regulation change that's supposed to come out on January 3rd. We don't have a lot of detail on it. So what I want to do is I'll touch on this when it rolls out and we have more clarity on what's going to happen. But this is going to have a fairly decent impact on our market depending on how hot or cold the market is in 2023. If it's a cool market like it is right now, I don't imagine it's going to have a huge impact. There's still full conditions negotiated to most offers right now. However, it might have more of an impact if the market heats up and multiple offers become more of the thing again. The next big factor is immigration. Now, I'm not sure if you've heard about this in the news yet, but Canada is expecting or planning to have roughly 500,000 new immigrants per year until 2025. Now, the exact numbers that they're expecting are 465,000 in 2023, 485,000 in 2024, and then finally 500,000 in 2025. Now, obviously, this is going to have a huge impact on the major metropolitan areas in Canada. Having roughly 100,000 people come immigrate into BC alone this year, we need to find housing for all these people. So it's going to play a big part in whether prices will continue to go up in the long run the next few years here, whether they'll remain flat or they continue to go down. But definitely something that we need to look into and keep an eye on over the upcoming months here to see what kind of impact that'll have for 2023. The final big variable is what we call the middle class squeeze. Now, I don't really have to explain this a lot because we're all really experiencing it right now. Rising gas prices, rising food prices, our mortgages are going up at a dramatic rate. All these things are causing a lot of people to wait and see what's going to happen. So buyers are being sidelined, sellers are hesitant to put their places on the market until we have some sort of stability, which is very normal. It's a very normal reaction to something like the volatility that we're experiencing right now. Markets want stability, and right now there's very little of that. So what we are really going to keep our eye on, especially in the first quarter of the year, is what's going to happen here if interest rates continue to go up. We would probably imagine that the market will continue to be slow and we'll have a very slow spring market. If the Bank of Canada decides to keep things flat, well, then we may have a fairly busy spring market because, again, we're hitting that stability and people want that stability. They want to know how much your mortgage payments are going to be. And the most dramatic thing that would happen is if we start entering a recession and the Bank of Canada actually starts lowering rates. At that point there's a decent chance that buyers will jump in and try to grab up the inventory before the market heats up again. So it really depends on what the Bank of Canada does over the next few months here. But this is obviously going to be a huge factor that will help determine and shape the real estate market in 2023. So just to recap on the three big variables that we're keeping our eye out for this year. The first and foremost is regulatory changes. We're not expecting that to have a huge impact on the real estate market and pricing. The next thing that will probably almost certainly have a bigger impact is immigration. How many people are going to be settling in the Greater Vancouver area? That's going to be a huge one to watch to see if prices go up or they continue to work their way down. Finally, the last big thing is the great middle class squeeze. If we keep getting squeezed with higher grocery bills, greater costs for restaurants, higher gas prices, bigger mortgage payments, all these things, people will be hesitant to pull the trigger on purchasing a home or doing any kind of real estate transaction. So these are the three factors that we want to watch, especially in the first quarter, because the first quarter really decides a lot of how the rest of the year will go. So we'll keep track of these variables here. We'll keep you in the loop, obviously. As always, thanks again for tuning into this video. If you ever do have any suggestions for future videos, what you'd like us to cover, please let us know. Drop us a line, send us an email, give us a call, shoot me a text, whatever you like, and we'd be happy to do that. Thanks a lot, and we wish you all a very happy holiday season and a very happy new year as well. Take care.